So, hey you guys, it's your girl Les Little, and I'm back again with another mother loving video. So in today's video, as you guys can see by the title, I'm actually going to be steaming today. For those of you who may not know like what I'm referring to, so I came across these studies of basically women who steam. In my culture, I'm Honduran. I have actually witnessed this when like females, typically they do it, and typically steaming is done in my country when a woman gives birth. I've witnessed my mom steam. I've actually sat in the bathroom with her being nosy while she steamed after she gave birth to my little sister, just to help heal after childbirth and clean your insides. I'm not telling you guys to go ahead and do this on your own, but the reasons why I'm doing it, I'm going to share with you guys, and I'm going to share with you guys as to how I get ready for my steam and actually how I steam. So one of the very good things with steaming your yoni and what it's useful for is it actually does help with your menstrual cramps. It helps if you've been bloating, if you've been cramping heavy. It helps if you're exhausted, if you have heavy bleeding. It actually really does reduce a lot of your menstrual symptoms, I guess you would say. It also does help boost fertility for people who may have issues with fertility, things like that. Steaming is actually really good for that. I know birth control, for the most part, at least for me, the reason why I started steaming was because of birth control. I done tried almost every birth control except for one, and my body hates all of them. My body rejects a few of them. The symptoms for some are not great. I would get freaking migraines every day, like wake up with the migraine and go to sleep with it. Sometimes, like I remember when I was on the depot, I bled every single day for like 3 months, and then it stopped, and then the other symptoms just started. I don't even. The depot and me, so not friends, okay? I lost a lot of weight on the depot, actually, too. I know some people gain weight on the depot. Not me. Your girl started gaining her weight when she got off the depot. Like, I was barely even eating, which is weird because if you know me, you know I like to eat. So it was just a lot of things. And I actually tried the depot 3 times, and each time it was like a different side effect for me, which I completely hated. I also had tried the pill, but me and pills, I know that we've never been friends. But the thing with taking pills at a certain hour, at a certain time, if you miss it, all that, I'm really just not good with that at all. Especially not for the type of schedule I carry, so the pill really wasn't good for me. The NuvaRing, that didn't work for me either. Listen, I've tried, okay? But moral of the story is that steaming actually does also help with, birth control side effects that you may have had in the past. If you're trying to regulate and basically, yeah, just you want to regulate your body, which is the reason why I'm using Yoni steaming. Also, for people who've had like hemorrhoids or cysts or vaginal bacteria or yeast, which is also something, not the yeast, but the vaginal bacteria. What is it called? Vaginosis something, I feel like. I don't know, but y'all know what I mean. Vaginal bacteria, steaming also does help with that. I actually have suffered from recurrent BV, which is another reason as to why I decided, you know what, I want to just stop putting all these crazy things in my body that's giving me all these different side effects, that's making me feel insecure and uncomfortable, and just I'm not 100% comfortable to tell you guys all the side effects that I have, but one day I promise we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about vaginas, our vaginas, because I feel like people don't talk about it enough, and there's a lot of things that go on down there that sometimes may surprise you. And with age, your body does change, and sometimes you just don't get a heads up. So we're gonna have that chat. I'm gonna give y'all a heads up. So yeah, so I actually was suffering from BV. It kept coming, reoccurring, and things like that. And you can get BV for a million reasons. And then the thing with my BV would be, I would go to the doctor, they would prescribe me a pill. The antibiotic would, so this is the thing with antibiotics, right? That some doctors won't tell you, but some do. Or you would just have to ask questions until you get answers. But with antibiotics, when doctors prescribe you antibiotics, for the most part, those antibiotics create yeast. So I was having recurring BV, which I would go to the doctor for. They would give me an antibiotic. The antibiotic would create yeast. Then sometimes, you know, the doctor would give me one for BV or one for yeast. But in the beginning, when I didn't know any better, I would go for BV. They would only give me antibiotics for BV. And then my situation gets worse because I'm like, okay, well, my discharge wasn't like this when I went to the doctor, so why does it look like this now? And it would be because antibiotics give you yeast. So then I would have to go back to the doctor for them to prescribe me something for yeast. And it was just like, it was so annoying, and it's so uncomfortable to like be sexually active. You're not that aroused because you're going through all these things down there that don't make you feel good, you know? And so I was just thinking to myself, like, yo, like, these prescriptions are not working for me. These pills are not working for me. This birth control is not working for me. None of these things are working for me. So I started steaming. And ever since I've been steaming, honestly, I don't really have that issue. Once in a blue moon, I will have the issue because it was reoccurring and for different things also, which I will reveal to you when I feel more comfortable when we talk about our vaginas. But for the most part nowadays, I really don't go through that, which is thankful. But that's basically the reason as to why I started steaming. But yeah, it does detoxify. It does help treat all those symptoms basically that I mentioned. It does also increase your circulation and your lubrication for better sex. I have noticed that after I steam, my insides are so moist and juicy, and it's just like, ooh. So it actually does feel good as well. So enough of that talking. I'm not no medical consultant. I'm not telling you guys to go ahead and steam. I'm not saying that this is just disclaimer. This is just something that I do. This is something that I use. If you know about it, if you do it, if you use it, if you're interested, go ahead at your own what's that word? People, at your own discretion, go ahead and do your own research and determine if this is something that would be helpful for you, if this is something that you would actually want to do. So there's many also steaming sites. I'm actually going to put a few sites that I follow on the description below, just so that if you guys are new to this whole steaming thing and you want to learn more about it, you could possibly follow these pages on Instagram as well. Do your own research. Google has you can ask a lot of questions on Google. Google has a lot of answers. But yeah, just to give yourself some knowledge on it. But I actually have been using the steam therapy, and I actually got this from Amazon. It gives you just about 4 to 8 steams. I don't really use too much because I don't really need too much. So yeah, so the directions are, you put the herbs and water in a pot and bring it to boil. So I have my pot right here, which I'm actually gonna put water in and boil. And then you let it simmer for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then you turn off the heat and you keep it covered so that all the moisture stays in there. Because one thing is, the last time I tried to steam, I don't feel like I did it well, only because I feel like I sat down too soon. I didn't really let it cool. You don't want to let it down cool too. You don't want to let it cool down too much, but you don't want it to be hot. You don't want it to be like burning your tissues. It's uncomfortable and it doesn't get the job done. Trust me. Because last time I really just wasted water and herbs, honestly. So this is basically what I use to steam. I have my pot. I have my steam therapy steam seat from Amazon as well, because it's just faster that way rather than ordering from like the Instagrammers, and it's the same amount of money and Amazon ships it to me in 1 or 2 days. So I typically like to wait until the water starts boiling and then I'll put the herbs in there, because I don't like the herbs to be all like soggy. So we're just gonna wait for it to boil. And then the other is allow the water and the herbs to steep for 5 minutes with the lid on. So that you put basically the herbs, you put the lid on to keep the steam all inside. You let it sit for a few minutes so it can cool down, because you don't want it to be too hot where it's burning you and it's uncomfortable, but then again you don't want to wait too long where now you basically let all the steam out. And then what I actually like to do is I take my steam seat, I make sure that my bathroom is clean, disinfected. I take my steam seat, I put it on my toilet. Once the herbs are good, and I'm going to show you guys, we're going to do all of this together. I put my herbs in my steam seat, and I actually wear a long skirt. So this is like my steam skirt, and I've done makeup and hair. You see glue on my skirt and everything. So I do wear like a really long skirt. It goes all the way down to the bottom. I got a slit on this side, but it does go all the way down to the bottom. And I put on a robe, and then I get like, I have this fuzzy blanket, and I wrap myself around with my fuzzy blanket. So once my water is boiled and we're gonna do all those other steps, I'll basically be back so that you guys can see what I'm rambling about. Yeah. All right, I have my blanket that I'm gonna basically wrap around me. So this is what I do, right? So let's just put this here. How diggity this is. Feel it! Nah! Alright, come on, let's cover up. And you want to sit in a way and open your legs enough where you're not burning yourself, but the steam is coming in. And you'll feel it. You don't want the steam going like so much into your butt hole. So I'm actually gonna finish steaming. I'm gonna sit here for 15 minutes. I'm gonna put the timer on my phone. I'm gonna sit here for 15 minutes, and then I'll talk to you guys about how I feel when I'm done. I'll be back.